As Mayor Atchison has explained to you, the role of the Board of Police Commissioners is sometimes, I think, to me, somewhat limited, but at the same time, very challenging. I've been on a board for 1 year now. My anniversary date was January, and as anything else, with everything else, it's been a real learning curve. I, like many other people out there, thought that the commissioners sat there and were responsible for pretty well everything that the police did. And in a short time, I found out that was not really the case. I just want to maybe get into a little bit about what we have been mandated to do on the strategic renewal, on the committee for strategic renewal. When the Saskatoon Child Inquiry report came out, the minister met with the board along with the Saskatchewan Police Board, and I guess directed us to look at the following steps and issues that we need to deal with as his response to the Saskatoon Child Inquiry. Those steps include ensuring internal controls are in place to catch errors or omissions in investigations. Commit the Saskatoon Police Service to objectivity, transparency, and openness in pursuing allegations of police misconduct. Establish the confidence of the Aboriginal community in the service. Restore pride in the service by its member officers. And finally, restore overall confidence in the service. As a result of this meeting, the Saskatoon Board of Police Commissioners struck a subcommittee consisting of 3 commissioners and members of the community and members of the First Nations leaders. We have Tribal Chief Johnstone on the committee. We have Ron Wilson, I believe, is in the room here, sitting on a committee, and the councillors that are on the councillor that's on a committee from City Council is Tiffany Paulson, and the mayor himself, and myself. First of all, we had to I guess we had to find out what what was there. We had to know what the Saskatoon Police Service was all about, or has done, or what it has done in the past with respect to some of these issues. And it was, and the first thing that we asked the police service to do was to do a historical, chronological review of their initiatives within the police service with respect to employment equity and with respect to recruitment issues, and also with respect to the complaints process. That work has now been complete somewhat. It was brought forward to us, and certainly, although there had been much effort done by the police service to address some of the areas of recruitment, it was, of course, as everyone knows, was not, I think, not a complete failure, but it hasn't been very successful. So we have lots of work to do in the area of recruitment and training. And I just want to speak to recruitment and training for a minute. And we've heard many people talk about this issue and how it's a big issue with everyone, not only in Saskatoon, but provincially, nationally. But I think it's important to know that with the recruitment process, it's good to find ways of recruiting people, recruiting targeted groups. But once the people are there, how do we? Someone mentioned this morning, how do we welcome those people, or how do we make them feel safe? So those are some of the questions that we need to start answering and providing solutions to. The other thing is the training. We all know that the training, there's a certain process and procedure that takes place when someone comes along and says, I want to be a police officer. First of all, there's an entrance exam. And yes, the entrance exam has been a big issue. There's many things that have been brought forward by different groups and by different people with regard to the exam that recruits have to take, particularly the Aboriginal people and minorities. So that is a big issue, one that the Subcommittee on Strategic Renewal is looking at very seriously and working hard to address and make recommendations on how we can change that. Secondly, I think we all know there's standards. Many of our people are because of all the because of the history of colonization and residential schools, many of our people fail to make some of these standards, particularly in the area of having to be drug-free and I guess or not have a criminal record of any kind or anything to do with the law. And so that makes it difficult because there's many young people that come forward, but may have had some contact with police and may have smoked a joint at one time or other, whichever one I think I could probably relate to in some ways. We've had ministers at the federal level admit to that. So, those are the kinds of problems that these are the kinds of things that we need to look at closely. The Saskatoon Police Service had instituted an employment equity program, and so far, again, we've found out that it's not exactly effective, and we need to find ways of making sure that it does become effective. And this is not necessarily just the police service matter. There's many other stakeholders that need to start working together to achieve some of these goals and objectives. I dare to say that that the Saskatoon Police Association is one of those groups, and we all know, I think, somewhat some of the problems that we've in other sectors, some of the problems that they have had with employment equity and with if the union isn't on side. So those are some of the things that the subcommittees is worked on so far. There are other things